Well, finances are stressful, and it could definitely put a strain on a couple's relationship. So joining us this morning to talk about financial fidelity and how you and your partner can achieve it is Family Trust Attorneys. We have finance expert and best-selling author Laura Meier and her husband, also an attorney and co-founder of their law firm, Josh. And good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being here. Josh, I know before the break we just said, well, you know, the attorney and her husband, you guys are both attorneys, so we want to clarify that. But first, maybe you guys could talk to us about what does the term mean? What is financial fidelity? It's not something that we hear about every day.
Yeah, it's something where, between couples, it's something where you want to be open, honest, and transparent with each other about your finances. And it's really about having, loyalty and trust, where you can trust, if you say what you're going to do, you're actually going to do it.
And Laura, I mean, how important is talking about money in a relationship?
I think it's key because it's actually one of the number one fights among couples. We're married. We know we've had plenty of fights over money. So really, when couples come to us and they're arguing over money, what we try and do is redirect the conversation, because what it's really about is the couple often just doesn't have those shared goals and that vision for their future together. So if couples can come together and kind of dream together, write their goals together, we call it, write out their if life were perfect list, then they're going to avoid a lot less fights, have more clarity, and be on the same page.
Do you know when in a relationship, I know you're not maybe relationship, couples therapist here, but at one point, some people might be starting out in a relationship, they're thinking about finances, and oftentimes a lot of people, I mean, that's just kind of like always on their minds. What point in a relationship do you think it's kind of okay to start opening up that dialogue and that conversation?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, the sooner you can do it, the better. We were actually just doing a marriage encounter for newly engaged couples. And this was one of the big topics that we had to go over, because it's something that if you don't understand that and kind of have that budget from the start, and kind of have that shared vision and goal like Laura was talking about, it just leads to a lot of just bad assumptions or resentment, or just kind of, potential for fights.
So really, is it just about just kind of discussing like, hey, I spent this today, or is it more of, I mean, here's the budget for different categories? I mean, I guess I'm just asking for maybe more detail. How do you think the best way is to handle the finances in a relationship?
We never want anyone to feel micromanaged, right? We all want some freedom in our relationship, but couples do need to have that conversation. And one of the things that we tell couples to do is just have an agreement on what you're okay with the other spouse or partner spending without necessarily having to run it by you. Sure, I would love to know what Josh is spending on fantasy football, and he probably wants to know what I spend at Nordstrom, but it's nice to have a little bit of autonomy. So couples should just have that number of what they're okay with. One of the couples we recently worked at, she threw out her number was 1,000 and the husband's was 10,000. So we thought, well, you might want to talk about that.
A little bit of
discrepancy there. Yeah. So just having that number of what you're comfortable with, and then trusting that your partner does have the shared interest at heart and isn't going to do anything to harm the family finances.
Well, and this is such an important topic, I think, for every relationship. And where can people go to get more information from you, Josh and Laura?
Yeah, no, you can get more information at our website, meierfirm.com. And also the familynestegg.com. We have a lot of great financial tools and resources for families.
All right. Important for everybody to keep an open dialogue there in any relationship. So Josh and Laura Meier, thank you both so much for being here and for your insight this morning.
Thanks for having us, Kevin.